Okay, think about this for a second. The phone that's probably in your pocket or in your hand right now has done more to reshape British society in the last 20 years than pretty much any law or social movement. It's wild, right? Today, we're diving into what we're calling the Great Reshuffling, how this tangled web of digital connections has completely rewired, well, everything, from our politics to our friendships.
And this slide, wow, it just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got 1995. A world of landlines, waiting for the 6 o'clock news, reading a physical newspaper. But on the right, that's today. A single device that is your bank, your map, your social life, and your newspaper. This isn't just about getting a new tool. It's like we've installed a whole new operating system for how we live. So, how on earth did this new operating system get installed so fast? I mean, it feels like it happened overnight. Let's take a look at the sheer speed of this digital transformation, because it's the foundation for literally everything else we're going to talk about. Get a load of this number, 92%. That's the percentage of UK adults who are now online. And look, that's not just a statistic. That's your Nan on Facebook, right? It's your plumber taking bookings over WhatsApp. The internet has gone from this clunky dial-up novelty to being a utility that's as essential as water or electricity. It's just on all the time. Now, when you have pretty much everyone online, one of the first things to get totally upended was our information diet. I mean, think about your own morning today. Did you actually go looking for the news? Or did a headline just kind of find you while you were scrolling? And this chart shows you exactly what's happened. It's a massive power shift. For almost half of us, social media is now the main gateway to the news. And you have to ask, why? Well, it's simple, really. It's personal, it's immediate, and it's always there, tapping directly into that part of our brain that craves constant connection and updates. This quote just nails it. We've moved from appointment to view news, turning on the TV at a specific time, to what's called an ambient algorithmic flow. The news just washes over us. It finds us, curated by code that is designed for one thing and one thing only, to keep us hooked. And that has some serious consequences. And here are some of those big implications. We get stuck in these filter bubbles where the algorithm only shows us stuff it thinks we already agree with, just reinforcing our own biases. Misinformation, which is often designed to make us angry or scared, can spread like wildfire. At the same time, vital local journalism, the kind that holds local power to account, is just withering on the vine. And we're all just trapped in this exhausting, relentless 24/7 news cycle. It really makes you wonder, are we more informed or just more anxious? But hey, it's not just the news that's been turned upside down. It's how we connect with each other. Our actual social lives have been completely and totally rewired. Let's get into that. Sociologists have this idea of third places. They're not home, they're not work, they're the pubs, the parks, the community centers where we used to meet and connect. Well, today, that third place is digital. It's become this huge, chaotic, sometimes wonderful, sometimes terrifying digital town square where we find our tribe. And you can really see that shift right here. The quiet chatter of the local pub is being replaced by the constant pinging of a WhatsApp group. We've traded actual face-to-face meetups for online forums. It's a different kind of connection, for sure. But is it a better one? That's the million-dollar question. So what's the engine driving this mass migration to the digital town square? What's making all of this happen? Well, it's a powerful and relatively new economic force, the attention economy. It's the engine of the entire digital world, and you are the fuel. So what exactly is it? It's actually pretty simple. In our modern world, your attention is the most valuable resource you have. It's scarce, and every single second you spend online, someone is competing to capture that attention so they can sell it to the highest bidder. In this economy, you're not really the customer. Your focus? That's the product being sold. This chart is basically a battlefield report from the war for your attention. And you can see who's winning. The mobile phone is winning, hands down. On average, we're now spending way more time staring at our phones than we are watching traditional TV. That is a colossal shift. And it's not just changing what we watch, it's changing how we think. So, all that brings us to the big question. Where do we go from here? This digital revolution has been incredible in so many ways, but it's also created this minefield of new, really complex challenges. And if we're honest, it kind of feels like we're all just walking through it blindfolded. So what are the big questions we really need to start answering? How do we stay sane in a world that is constantly screaming for our attention? How on earth do we protect our privacy when every click we make is being tracked? How do we make sure people aren't being left behind in this massive transformation? And maybe the most important question of all, how do we stay human in a world that's basically designed to addict us?
Which brings us right back to the central puzzle of our time. We've never been more connected technologically, but are we actually any closer? Or are we all just shouting into our own